Hey everybody, welcome back to Passing Money. I'm Kirby. That's Alex over there. Today we're gonna talk about why we always talk about the cash flow and its importance, but mainly it's more important right now in a downturn. In our previous video, we talked about how net worth really means nothing but just uh, a score on a scoreboard to just something to brag about. But in all actuality, cash flow and the number and the amount you bring in from your assets is the most important thing. But with that being said, Alex, what do you think about and how cash flow benefits in the downturn?
Yeah, I think it's great. Especially, we've talked before about having an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months expenses. That's the most common one. But
Hmm.
we've also, I believe we've talked about this on the show, is that's only going to get you for that duration of time. But in cash flow, especially as say in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, you might read that wealth is defined by how much cash flow you have that can sustain you for depending on how long of a time. So if your expenses are $3,000 a month and your cash flow is $4,000 a month, then your wealth is indefinite and you can sustain yourself, with for as long as possible without needing to report to a job or go somewhere to work. Um,
Right.
so that's why I think it's very key for someone that's looking to become an entrepreneur or just have an income that isn't based on a W-2 job that doesn't hold them down to a certain spot. In downturn times, especially, it's very crucial because someone that may be dependent on a W-2 job for their income to pay for their expenses, if they lose that, they either have to find another job, pull from their savings. There's very limited options, but if they have cash flowing assets, they're going to be able to sustain themselves. And if they want to go back to work, take their time and finding another job.
Right. And I agree with you 100% on all the points that you said. Just carving out a little piece of that, like you said, in the downturn, and if you having cash flow assets and things like that, and then you have the possibility to lose your job, the bills are going to come every month. And I say that ad nauseum. And so, and like you said, if we go into an economic downturn and people lose their jobs, they have to get another job to pay the bills. Uh, Maybe you're not cash flowing, let's say, more than your income is now, but having some cash flow coming in, still tying you over, it will help and assist to keep padding that emergency account just to keep replenishing off the money that you're spending to cover the bills until you get another job. But the a big thing that people miss, we everybody talks about cash flow when the economy is going great. It's good. The money is good when the economy is going great. Rent checks come in, dividend checks come in, option money comes in, all that other stuff comes in, business money comes in. But the thing is when when the economy freezes up, when banks cut down on lending, when jobs cut back on hiring, it will be a cascade of things that go along with it, and especially in a family dynamic. So having income coming in from another source besides you working will help you tide the waters or hold you over longer than somebody who just lost their job and don't have no income coming in at all. And we talk about it like in my household, our whole modus operandi was to keep putting the money that we work for to work to produce more cash flow than we make as a household. And we wanted to make it 2, 3 times that amount. So, of course, in the downturn, we're not going to receive all of the rent checks. We know that. Where the dividends might get cut on stocks. The option premium might not be as high. The business might not operate as optimal in a recession because all those things go with it. But the reason why we kept increasing and making one of our passive income or our, let's just say, cash flow way more than our income is when the downturn comes, we're expecting we will have shortages, like the things we just talked about, rents and dividends and things like that, but it won't go to zero.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna have delinquent tenants, but we're gonna have some tenants that's still paying. And then we, mix up the allocation when it comes to, rentals. Like we pick up some Section 8 tenants and stuff like that. That money will still come in, and so on and so forth. But that will tide us over if we went into a space where we lost all our jobs and we had no income coming in from our W-2 work, and it could cover the bills that's still going to come in. Another, now as we're speaking on money coming in to cover what money you make, it's imperative that people stop living up to the income that they make. Just because you make $100,000, $200,000 a year, that don't mean you have to spend 100 and $200,000 a year. Why can't you make $100,000 and live on 70, live on 60? Start investing to 40, pocket it, or just saving it up for in case a bad time happens. If you live any time on this earth, especially as an adult, you've seen something that we're talking about, like i.e. a recession, a financial crisis. If you don't know, well, I know Alex, but for people that don't pay attention to the financial news, the United States go into a recession every 10 years. So bad times are going to come. So you don't have to spend what you make. You don't have to, just because you get a new position at your job. Let's say you become manager or VP or something. That don't mean you gotta. Oh, I gotta go buy a new house to match my title. You
Right.
don't have to buy a new car. You've been riding around in a Honda all this time, and then now because you got a new position at work, now you got to drive a BMW because all the other VPs driving BMWs. It's okay not to run with the crowd. It's it's actually better to not run with the crowd because most of the crowd is stupid. They don't know what the hell they're doing, and most of them are broke. So stop trying to follow the crowd to be something, to have an image, because the only people you're impressing, and Ellis, we talk about this all the time. When you buy all this high name value stuff, the only people that you are impressing are the people that can't afford it. So if you a VP and you go buy a BMW and everybody else got BMWs, it's not the VPs that saying, "Oh, I like your car." It's the people that you're employing, your subordinates. Those are the ones that saying it because they can't afford it. So what gratification you get out of impressing people that just don't have the income that you have? I've never seen the point in it.
Yeah, that point reminds me of an interview with Grant Cardone where he was telling another person who was making way more than he was when he was starting out that he made $650,000 for the year. And the guy asked him, "Are you complaining or bragging?" He's like, "I don't understand how you can live off of that," because the other guy was making way more than he was. It's like there's always going to be someone above you making more. So in that scenario, it doesn't really matter.
Absolutely. And that's the key of it. Um, and having the insight and understanding. If you study history, if you don't study history, the situation is bound to repeat because it's going to be the same. There's going to be some of the same people that was hurt during the financial crisis that will be hurt again. Actually, it's going to be a lot of people that was hurt during the financial crisis that didn't study what happened to try to prepare for it to better themselves. That's going to get hurt again in this crisis. And that's, if you don't study history, it's bound to repeat itself. Me, I was hurt in the financial crisis, but what I did was I wanted to study and be prepared for when the next time it came. And that's what I did. I spent all of 2008 studying. Well, yeah, 2008 studying, 2009, and I still study today. And then 2009 came, I just started putting it what I learned to work. Start taking advantage in down markets. Start storing cash before, when the rumblings start happening in the financial news and they haven't hit the mass media yet. Start storing cash up to deploy it when times are bad, so that those investments that I made will start producing me cash flow in the future. And then I kept buying, I kept increasing my assets and keep increasing my assets to get more cash flow. So now, as we're talking now about a potential recession coming up in the future, I start storing money again, and still to this day, still buying assets to produce more cash flow. But I'm still storing more cash. So if this thing crashes down, like people in the media is talking about, I don't believe it's going to go that deep. But if it does crash that far, I can take advantage again, so I can acquire more assets to produce me more cash flow in the future.
Right. And
So that's why understanding cash flow, and it's good when times are good, but it's most important when times are bad.
yeah, it's very important, especially as you're saying, having not just one income source of cash flow, but having multiple properties or um, different, like say a portfolio of 3 to 5 stocks that you're trading options on or collecting dividends from, not just one source of, like just one rental property. It's important to have multiple sources so that when it does pull back, as you were saying, it doesn't go to zero, but you're still collecting cash flow even in hard times. And the more you have, the more you're still going to be collecting.
Right. Yeah, and I know there's gonna be some people that say, these people on social media, YouTube and things like that, they have rental properties and they're talking their own book. They're putting all these fear videos out because they want the housing market to go to zero so they can benefit. Or they'll come with some counter argument of if they own these assets and they believe that the market is going down so bad, why they're not selling? The reason why is because we don't care where the market goes. Once you have the asset, we don't care what the value somebody say it is. I have rental properties, $500,000 or more. If it goes down to $50,000, I don't care. As long as the cash flow still coming, the property value will come back. Just have the cash flow keep coming. So that's the secret why, and I've seen it on many videos where people say, "Oh, well, if they have all this assets that they say they have, and they say the market's about to crash, why they're not selling their rental properties or whatever? Because of the cash flow. Because the cash flow is what's going to sustain us, not selling an asset. What we not timing the market like, oh, we sell now and then we're the smartest people in the room. We're going to time it and buy it back down at the bottom. That's not how it works. How it works is you buy assets, accumulate assets over a long period of time, produce cash flow, and the cash flow will continue to compound on itself via dividend increases by the company, via option premium when volatility goes up, via rental rate increases over time. That's how the cash flow in your bank accounts get bigger, not by buying and selling houses, trying to time it and flip it like it's a stock trading market or something like that. Real estate is a very illiquid market, meaning that it's don't move as fast as the stock market where you can buy and sell 30, 40, 50 times a day. You put a house on the market, normally not 2020, 2021, everything was flying off the shelves in like 5 minutes, uh, but usually you put it on the market, you have to wait till somebody buy it. It's a process over, 2, 3, 4 months. So you just focus on the cash flow, keep building up your cash flow reserves and keep building up your cash flow streams. And then with that cash flow, don't go out there and blow it like you're crazy. Use that money for when bad times come, you have capital to start taking advantage of those properties that fell down to $50,000. So you can buy more assets and produce more cash flow for when it goes up. I
Exactly.
picked up a couple of those $50,000 properties. That's why I put it out there.
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, with that being said, guys, if you like the video, hit the like button. Let us know in the comment section down below what you thought. If you have any questions, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next one.